actually. Okay, cool. So we are back again with another guest. So, this is weird because I've been thrown back in. Normally there's a little bit of talking. I press record way before the cameras are on. Just so we can acclimatise to what's doing. So, this is Ore, guys.
Hello. What camera am I supposed to be looking at? I never know when these kind of setups. So I switch between the two.
So middle camera's got you, that camera's got you, that camera's on me.
So don't look at that one because that'd be awkward. No, so look at these two.
I look at all three if I'm being completely honest.
Maybe I just shouldn't overthink it. Just like look around.
No, literally look around.
Okay.
And more time, I forget that they're there and I literally look at you whilst...
Okay.
Yeah. So Paula, she was looking out like you're meant to.
She's like a pro with cameras though, innit? So like I feel like someone that's behind the camera will know what's going on like in front. Whereas I'm just like,
Yeah, she was even saying like, yeah, you're lucky it's you because I'm not in front of the camera.
Oh, really?
I was like, thanks, girl. But yeah. So I'm here to talk to you about your journey, your life. How are you?
I'm good. My journey, I never know what to say. Where do you want me to start?
Okay. Before I do that, let me introduce. If you don't know Oreviews.
Oreviews.
You know, sometimes in my head, my brain doesn't compute it because like I deeped Oreviews. Reviews.
Yeah.
Review.
All one thing. It's like the most creative thing that I've come up with. I say that all the time. Like I've never actually been that. You know, people that come up with like snazzy little like captions. Yeah. I've never been that person. When I came up with that, I was like, this is literally my mark of greatness. This is sick.
When I saw it, I was literally just like, oh no, because for me, I like rappers, even though I don't really know a lot about music, but I like wordplay.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I was just like, no, but you don't get it. And I know you don't get it, so let me break it down. Split the words in different places and put a different meaning.
Exactly.
But I did have an intro for you because I don't think you understand how much I rate you. You say this.
Oh my god.
No, seriously. Because like before a lot of people were on the review writing things in my life that I've seen, you were like one of the first. For me.
Oh.
For me. And I think I can't remember exactly, but I remember reading your blog page like the first time you wrote the blurb. Is it called a blurb?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The synopsis of you, and it was pretty much saying like, oh yeah, I just woke up one morning and decided to write this.
Yeah, that is literally how it happened though.
That's like I remember seeing that. I was like, wow, so this is what people are doing in life.
Well, I used to read things like that and just be like, oh, there's no way you literally just woke up and thought of this idea. Like you're actually lying. Just say that you planned it for about a year. Like, and honestly, and now I can't even say that because that is literally what happened to me. Like I was in uni and so in uni I did chemistry, fellow science girls, and and I always say this, right? No one forced me to do chemistry. Literally nobody forced my hand at all. Like I chose to do it. I myself chose to do a chemistry degree, and it was really weird because prior to that, even though like A levels, I did 2 sciences and I did philosophy and ethics. So like so like one humanities. Didn't even do English, but loved it at GCSE. Like absolutely loved English. Loved my English teacher. She was always like really really sick and like pushing me and stuff like that. So just always really liked writing. And then A levels, I kind of got that split because I did philosophy and ethics. So I got a little bit of writing there. And then it got to uni and all of a sudden it was literally just like labs, inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry, metaphysics, and it was just like, oh my god, you're actually killing me. Like I've literally got nothing.
Wait,
like,
did you actually enjoy your course or?
First year I really enjoyed it. First year I was literally like, oh my god, I'm gonna become a scientist. This is sick. And halfway through second year I was literally like, what is this shit? Can I swear? Sorry. What is this?
Nice.
What is this shit? Literally halfway through I was actually like why am I even here? What the hell is this? And then I think so I started the blog in 2015, which is literally halfway through. So it's when I realised that like I just need like some sort of like injection of creativity, I think. Started the blog in 2015, so halfway through uni. Literally just as like a little blog, just to have something to do that wasn't lab reports.
So it was literally just a form of escapism?
Literally. I used to go to the cinema by myself after...
That's a vibe. That's a flex.
It's like my favourite thing to do.
I enjoy it more than with people.
I say this all the time. I keep talking about lockdown and like missing things, and one of the things I miss so badly is the cinema, and not necessarily the social aspect. I don't need to go with people. I just want to be able to like have nothing to do on a Friday and be like, you know what, I'm going to the cinema, so I really miss it. But I used to go after labs.
Didn't you?
Yeah, the yearly thing. They're frozen it now though. They're not taking my money. Yeah, they're frozen it. But yeah, so I used to go after labs in uni was like 10 till 4 or something. You know already. It was like something stupid, 10 till 4. And because it was chemistry, it was every week.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh, you're doing too much. I need to do something that wasn't science. So I used to go to the cinema like every other week by myself after labs, and just write about it. Literally just write about like, the random films.
Because like I had this spiel in my life where I tried it, but it's just like I'm not a writer, and I know like I like to talk about things, and I thought like that was the only medium in which I could get what's in my head out to anyone who actually cares. Then I found YouTube and I was just like, yeah, I don't care. We're here now. But it's like because you definitely inspired me. I won't even cap. You inspired me. I copied you. I did.
That's so sick to hear.
No, but
thanks.
And I feel like one of the things that when I was thinking like, okay, cool. If I was to do like, this is a talk show and like introducing my guests and all of that sort of stuff, I was thinking like, right, technically by the definition, you're an influencer. Whether or not, no, because you've influenced someone. Do you know what I mean? The concept of like not like oh my days, take pictures and at this location come in, but like you've influenced. Like even the fact that you can suggest a movie, and someone's like, oh, do you know what? Oh, it's decent. Let me even check it out. So I think you need to change your bio. It's factual.
I'll take that. I'm not changing my bio, but I'll take that.
No, do you know what? I didn't plan a lot of what I was going to say, so we're literally free falling. But I actually did. I did do some recon.
Okay.
I did. So you've spoken with quite a few people.
I have.
Which is lit.
I have spoken with quite a few people. Yeah.
So let's say Headie One before. That was the first one where I was just like, that's my name. Like, because especially with like artists and stuff, I feel like they are just one step further than me. Like they're just not accessible. So let's say, sorry, I was going to say someone like Dave, but you've also met Dave. Do you know? I shouldn't be saying this because it's very embarrassing, but I plan to meet him in that sort of fashion as well.
He's such a babe. He's really nice.
No,
really
nice. Affirmation was my chance.
It's funny because you're actually tearing up at the idea of meeting Dave.
No, but literally, okay, actually,
Just keep it together, girl. Keep it together.
No, but literally, I'm so upset that affirmation is probably not going to happen because that was the plan.
I'm sorry.
Just to see him. So, oh, Dave! Friend! Come here! But, so yeah, sorry, back to Headie One. So, like, I feel like all art, for me, artists are literally that. They're just a grasp away. Like, I might know someone that knows of someone that knows you, but you're not very accessible to then I'm seeing you. I know you. I grew up with you, and like you were this distance from Headie One. And Headie One, he's not like he's sick, and he's well known and he's established. Like Spotify suggested the Deluxe album.
Yeah. I think so. When I did the transition from, well, not transition because I guess I still do both now. But when I obviously started off in just writing about films, which obviously they're just in the cinema, right? So they're like super accessible. And then decided to start doing some album reviews as well. Just because I wanted to push myself. I always find writing about music harder than writing about film. So I was like, but you know what, like, let me just take this challenge and see what happens with it. And then, to be fair, luckily, so the first like interviewee type thing that I did, I guess, was with Headie, and that was like the friend of a friend thing. And I literally just reached out and was just like, let's just see.
Reached out to him?
So I reached out to his friend.
Oh, okay.
Reached out to his friend just to, because I met his friend, and just to be like, you know what, like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. Like, obviously, I don't even, at this point, I didn't even have like a portfolio to back anything up, like back any of my talk up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just here saying like, yeah, the interview is going to be really chill and it's going to be really good and and I'm going to put it on my channel, and I don't even have a channel at this point. Like, what am I talking about? So then, but obviously I've just reached out, and I think what helped as well is that the Headie that I interviewed was the Headie that potentially, I can't remember the timelines off the top of my head, but hadn't even come out with like Music and Road, which was like his first like major EP. I think he'd only done like mixtapes at that point, like the one and the one
right.
two. Yeah. So it's not that it wasn't necessarily the Headie of today. Not personality wise, I think he's probably completely the same, but it wasn't the sort of like his scope wasn't like as big, which I think helped because his friend literally hit me back and was like, "Yeah, all right, let's do it. Cool. Let me know like what day works for you." And I was like, "Oh my god, you want me to let you know what day works for?" Like, no problem. So I literally booked it off work, like, booked a day off work, asked them what location works for them, and they were like, "Anywhere in North London." I was like, "All right, easy." Booked the studio. Literally found, and it was so last minute. I think they were like, "Oh, he's got really good availability like next week." And I was literally thinking, "Shit, I'm working."
Yeah.
I think I told work that. Did I book it off? Maybe I actually did book it off. I can't remember. I think I booked it off. Found a videographer on like this freelance site that I'd never met before and just trusted and hopefully like hope that she'd do a good job, which she did. Yeah, and then
the equipment and everything.
Yeah. So she brought the equipment. Luckily she lived in. It was random, but she lived in Bermondsey as well. So I'm from Bermondsey, and she lived in Bermondsey as well. So I just met her. We literally met on the day of filming. Yeah, and then just sat and just had this interview with Headie One, and it was just sick. Like I just remember sitting there thinking. No, in the moment I wasn't thinking. Actually, I was just thinking about the questions. But afterwards, when he'd left, I just remember thinking like, this was fun.
Yeah.
You know, like this was actually like quite fun, and it's all, and I don't feel any way about the fact that like this has all come out of my own pocket. You know, so like I'd paid the videographer at the time. She was called Stella. So I'd paid Stella. I'd booked the studio. I've booked time off work. Like so, I'm using like my time, my money, but I don't feel. It doesn't feel like
I've lost.
You know, like some things are just like so devastatingly sacrificial that you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe that I've given up, la 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 la. Whereas this was just like, this was sick. Can't wait for this to be edited, kind of thing. So yeah, so that was the first one, and then since then done a couple more. Yeah.
You can't overlook the couple more.
I've just done a couple more. I think every yeah. Do you know what has helped? Do you know what has helped? I think that do you know when people say things like what's that phrase? And you're always just like, oh whatever, but it kind of is your network is your network is your net worth. Yeah. And you know when you hear that and you're kind of like but can't lie, it has helped me out quite a bit. I can't lie. I think so. When I did the Headie One, it was like maybe like 2 weeks before his he was doing a concert, like a small concert in Shoreditch. So like 2 weeks before then, and when the interview ended, his manager was there in the room as well, and his manager was like, "Oh, that was really good. It was really like chill." I think
he had another interview, because I rewatched that interview, and I think I listened to you talk on someone's podcast, and I think he had another interview before, and it was
and it wasn't great, and I was literally like, and it wasn't that the interview wasn't good, it was just awkward, like it just felt, and I remember watching it, and it was like a week before, or like a couple days before I was meant to interview him, and I was thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna have to interview this stiff hood guy. And I'm gonna come with my and I've chosen to, and I've paid the videographer, and I've booked the studio, and I'm gonna come with my Bermondsey, oh yeah right, and he's just gonna be looking at me, and it's just gonna be awkward. I just remember thinking that, like, it's gonna be so awkward, and then got there, and it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't, and I think his manager saw that, which was like sick, and it was really sick to hear, because his manager was literally like never seen him open up like that, like at the time, and then his manager was like, oh, do you want a press pass? Like, I'm sorting out the press list for the concert, which was in like 2 weeks time or something. Do you want a press pass? You and Stella, the videographer. And I was like, yeah. At this point, I didn't even know where I was free. It was in the week. I had work. I was literally like, yeah, like, of course, like, what the hell? So obviously, took this press pass, went to do press coverage again for the concert. And when like I was meeting all the other people that were on the press list, there was this woman that was from BBC One Extra, who did the PR for BBC One Extra, and she was like, oh, I saw your interview with one of Headie's managers called Ads. He was like, oh, Ads showed me your interview with Headie, da da da. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just little things, like a little bit of luck, to be fair, because Ads was saying that he doesn't always actually stay in the interview. But for some reason, I think he just couldn't find anywhere else to sit. So he just literally just sat there and watched the interview. So because he saw the interview, then he had a meeting with the girl from One Extra who does PR like not too long after that. So it was fresh on his mind. Do you know what I mean? I feel like obviously just little bits of like timing, which I'm really grateful for because that was completely out of my control. But also just little bits like me actually going to meet the other people that were on the press list thing where I could have just been standing in the corner being like, oh my God. Yeah.
No, so with that press, was that actually like, okay, I'm giving you a press pass just to see the concert or for you to actually work as press?
So it's press passes are weird. I feel like anything like PR and press is a bit weird because it's very PR and press is free, right? So they're giving it to you for free, and because they're giving it to you for free, you're not paying them, they're not paying you, so there's no real obligation
for you to do anything.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. So like there's a sort of like unspoken about expectation is the word. There's an unspoken about expectation that you're gonna do some sort of coverage, whether that be like social media coverage, writing about it for like a publication or your own blog or whatever. But there's also there's no obligation. There's no like,
See, I didn't know that.
So I just remember going there thinking, all right, cool. Like I know how this works because at work I work really closely with PR.
I'm so sorry.
It's
David,
fine.
Is it possible for you to increase the heat on this? If it's because I'm really feeling hot.
Oh, I don't know.
Can we turn this?
If you're making the buzzer noise, but
No, yeah. Don't worry. They can. I'm not gonna freeze for them. No, because like as we were talking, I can just feel my shoulder.
This is why I have put the scarf on though. It's cold.
That scarf was a nice scarf.
Thanks, man.
Nice scarf.
Thanks, man.
Sorry.
So I was saying that because at work I work in marketing, so we work really closely with PR. Yeah. So because I knew how it worked, I was like, all right, cool. Like worst comes to worst, I get a free concert out of it, you know. Like let me just go. But ended up meeting some really cool people.
That's sick. And then so that led to the BBC Extra.
Yeah, the One Extra interviews, which was proper cool. That was my first taste of. One, it was my first taste of like I said one. I've got 2 fingers. How embarrassing. One, it was my first taste of like loads of mini interviews back to back.
Okay.
And when interviews are like this is the first time I've learned this, so it's not like I'm a pro or anything, but when interviews are considerably shorter and there's loads of them, it really tests your like research level or like how much you actually know in your head to actually ask these people.
Yeah.
And then 2, it also tests your I guess your ability to like get the important questions out quickly without making it seem like you're like
just
jumping at them. Yeah, exactly. Because you want to make them comfortable, but you also need to be aware that you've only got like 7 minutes or something. Like I think it was really short. They were like 6 minutes each or something. But you also, you want to make them comfortable, but you don't also want to like, it's not like, hi, so when's the album out? And it's like, oh my God, you're scary. Like you don't want to be that person. So yeah, that was like, whoa, like there's a lot going on here. Yeah. And I had to jump from like an interview with Mist, who's like super like chill brum vibes, to like Chip, who was like really talkative, had a lot to say, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like Ella May, who's like now not even a rapper, I'm now talking about something completely different. Like it was just like, oh my God. I remember afterwards, my friend was my videographer that day. And his name's Reese, and me and Reese, we literally just sat, it was in the O2, and we just sat down in like, you know, the Starbucks in the entrance, sat down in the Starbucks afterwards, and we're just looking at each other, like, you know, there's nothing to say, we're just like, that was flipping intense that day. And that was like, we forgot a memory card, we didn't have an SD card, it was just like, what is going on? We didn't have an SD card, and then loads of the interviews, we realised that like the mic wasn't working, so we only had the audio that the camera had picked up by itself, not the actual mic audio.
But that's not as good as the...
We were just sitting in that Starbucks literally looking at each other like
this was an ordeal.
Oh my God. But it was a really good experience, like really, really good experience. Now I'm like 2 SD cards always, 3 mics if we can. Like and like let's just test everything all the time now.
I feel like I'm in a stage, so like this is second day of recording, so this type of thing, but the first day was only one person really taking it easy and whatnot. This one, I woke up this morning, I left my house and I left half of everything at home. And it's just like, because it's been a while, so the first one was like 2 months ago.
Fine.
And so my brain doesn't really know what I'm doing anymore. Even when I came here, halfway through the Paula's interview, I was just like, the settings on this Mac is incorrect. It's like, I can hear you cutting out. I don't know how to. I'm talking to her and I'm like Googling how to fix this audio. I've lost the SD card, so in this one it's a micro SD, and so you need the adapter.
Yeah. Don't know what that is.
I had it this morning. But we're just moving, and it's something that you have to enjoy those sort of things, because things aren't always going to be perfect. And this setup for me is like, okay, it's definitely only the start.
Yeah. And
I can't wait for me to improve, and so I can look back and be
definitely.
Like, do you remember back when?
Oh my god,
Do you know what I mean?
definitely.
Like, you have a back when. The fact that, like, of course you weren't named off, but you literally just said chip. Do you know how much chipmunk? Daily Duffy.
No, I know.
What?
I know. I remember even when I was interviewing him, I don't ever really get like.
Not starstruck.
Yeah, I don't really get like that. Not because I don't rate the people, it's just not really in my nature, I think.
Yeah.
But I just remember when I was doing the Chip interview, I just remember like he was talking and then he said something like, oh, you know, he's something like he's gonna be 30 next year, or maybe he's gonna be 30 in like 2 years time or something like that. I can't remember. And I just remember I stopped him, or he'd stopped and it was just silent, and I just felt, and I was literally like, oh my god, you've been doing this for ages. Like, you're actually not even like, you're not actually anyone's mate, like, irrespective of what you think about him. So it's like, wow.
Bit like I grew up. What do you know? What I mean?
Like
say, like,
years.
No, I physically grew up. You were on my screen.
Yeah, like I just got to think, like, I started seeing you when you were 16 and you're now 28, so I've actually been seeing you for 16 years. Like, isn't that nuts?
I'm just like, bear in mind, I'm only 22.
So well, I'm only 24, so I was like, whoa.
The majority of my life, you have been around.
It's nuts, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's actually nuts.
And then it's like, now we're just sitting down having a conversation.
I know. And I always try and guess, I probably shouldn't even do this, but I always try and guess like what people's personalities are going to be like before I speak to them.
I feel like that'll be fun though.
It is quite fun. It's quite fun to be wrong, actually. It's not really that fun to be right, because then it's like,
oh, I knew it.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't really get surprised, but yeah, some people are like way different than I thought they'd be, and then some people are literally like, yeah. I knew that you would be exactly like that. Which is
disappointed.
Yeah, a little bit. I thought you shocked me a little bit, but yeah, it's fun. It is fun. I really like that aspect of what I do.
That's crazy. So, like you mentioned before, okay. So this is what you do. Is when you go, people say a fun fact about you or tell me about your work. Do you say like, okay, I'm part time? Because you're fully employed. You're full time.
Yeah, I am a full time worker.
How do you balance it?
I'm joking. I
what's
love
your
my
vibe?
joke. How do I balance it?
Or do people at your work know that, oh yeah, on the weekend you could just be sent a PR package and?
You know what? They do, roughly. So because I work in marketing and because it's fashion marketing as well, we it's very like everyone follows each other on Instagram and blah, blah, blah.
I got my first follow for my work.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah, you'll see it soon. Honestly, everyone will start following you on Instagram, and because my Instagram's open, it's kind of just like, oh, whatever. Same. And I've also kind of got nothing to hide, so it's just like whatever. So because everyone follows you, so I think they can't not see it. And I also think there's times where I think because of the demographics that I work with, so it's like mainly white people, mainly a bit older than me. I'm 24, so like mainly a little bit older than me. Yeah. I think that a lot of them don't really understand like what I'm doing. I think that conceptually they understand it, right? Because I work in marketing, it's not that far away from like PR and that kind of thing. So that conceptually they understand the idea of me getting like a press pass or writing an article or whatever. Like that's not crazy to them. But I think that, so when I did like a film junket interview thing for the cast of Blue Story. Yeah. And I think that made sense to them, right? Because they'd seen the trailers for Blue Story. It was on their bare of them live in like gentrified areas now, so it was on their buses. They all live in like Peckham and Deptford and stuff. Yeah. So it was on their buses, and then they'd seen the film. So me saying that, or them seeing it on Instagram that I'd interviewed the cast of a film that they are aware of. It's a bit like, oh. They were like, oh, okay, like whatever. But in my head, they were like super shocked at that, which then made me realize that they hadn't really even taken in what I'd been doing earlier. But I think it's because like like my last interview that I put out, like a written interview, was with Blanco. Blanco doesn't mean anything to them.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just like Blanco, Headie One doesn't really mean anything to them. Maybe now, but at the time, Headie One didn't mean anything to them. So I think it'd be more that like it just go over their heads.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I don't hide it or anything. Like at work, I'd say, I'd be like, oh, on the weekend I need to do some writing, or I've got an interview or whatever.
I'm trying to think, because for you that don't know, we sort of work in similar areas now. So,
yeah.
Let's portal your
Selfridges.
Competitors.
Big yellow company. I know, we're competitors. We should be fighting each other.
Honestly, I just don't. But it's like, I'm trying to think, if I actually did what you've done, like spoke to a couple of people that you've spoken to, will my colleagues get it? I don't think they will.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, oh, like she does, because that's basically with all of this setup. That's how I got my job. I oversold this production. I oversold what I did on my blog. They said, do I know how to use HTML, whatever the thing? I said, yeah, of course. I wrote like 2 codes. I'm so sorry, Erica, but you had me now. But it's like, I don't think they get it. But then I don't think we truly understand like what you're doing is sick, if that makes sense. Like, it's so much about, okay, yeah, this is what you do. You get the early release thing.
Yeah. pre-release like
it's
track lists and all of that
so
sort of
much
stuff.
of our like norms, like, oh yeah, she got, yeah, of course, because she's gonna write a review on it. But like to someone else that doesn't know you, or that they'll see that's like, how does she know the right people? How does she? Sorry, whenever Damien looks at me, I actually get a bit worried.
That was by accident.
But I can't lie, that timing is very good because I do have roughly 10 minutes. But like, yeah, I don't think we truly understand. It's a bit like, I'm pretty sure there is going to be someone out there that wants to do it but doesn't get how.
Yeah,
you know
I know what you mean. I feel like sometimes I have to like just stop and be like, whoa, like this is actually quite sick. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Sometimes it is a bit like I'll get sent like a PR release or something, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And in my head, I'm like, then I had to stop and be like, wow, like these, someone from Universal Music or Warner Brothers or something, like what, like I'm actually on their, like I'm actually intentionally on their list and something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just little things like that. Where I mean, they're only telling me that like a film's coming out in the UK on this day or whatever. But it's just the fact that like intentionally I've been put on their list. Sometimes I have to remind myself that like
a circle that they said.
Yeah, okay, that is kind of sick.
Demographic, I need to speak to this person, and she has a audience that actually cares about what she's saying. Did you, when you started, did you have not a plan, but did you ever think you'd be here?
No, you know, but not because I think that's more because I'm not really like forward planning and forward thinking just ain't really my thing. Just like, yeah, just not. And I think because obviously where I'd started with it as a blog, it was very just like, I just need to write. It wasn't, I need to write to build this platform in order to get to XYZ. I think that because now it's like escalated and like the things have been happening off it, I think it makes it easier for me to now make plans. So like I remember at the start of, or at the end of 2020, I just remember being like, okay, cool, I want to have X amount of interviews. I mean, to be fair, this year is just ridiculous, isn't it? But in theory, I want to have X amount of interviews down by the end of the year, and I want to have, you know, this amount of screenings, whether they be virtual or like real life, that kind of thing. But I think I can only do that one now that I've like got to a particular stage, and that's me personally. I think that if you're able to do the forward planning thing, then that's sick. I think in order to like, if you're able to start something and be like, okay, cool, I'm starting this because in 5 years I want to make it, that's sick. But it's just not really in my nature. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a bad thing.
I don't think it is a bad thing, because I feel like I am that person that likes to say.
That's why you don't think it's a bad thing.
I would absolutely love, because it's like sometimes you think like, okay, so if this is that person's trajectory, so obviously mine's going to follow a similar suit, so that means by that time I need to speak to X, Y, and Z person, that and then it doesn't happen, and then your whole world is like shattered and you're just thinking, yeah, crap. But that's not necessarily the truth. It just might mean that my time is a different, and it just might mean like, okay, cool, because I really wanted my blog, like I work in phases, so by lockdown 1, great time to be alive, comparison to this one. I was just like, yeah, I'm a blogger now. That is my brand. That is what I'm going to make my first stream of income from. And to do that, I need to post regularly. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to expand. I need to take pictures. All of that sort of stuff. And then I realised that, okay, cool, that's great. Does that work with your personality? No. I don't like to write. I do write when I can, but I need to be really inspired to write, because writing is a hard process for me, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm dyslexic. I hold my hands up. I can't words.
Yeah, and I hear that.
But,
I hear that.
But then it's just like, okay, cool. So if I was to actually set my goals, like, okay, I need to speak to this amount of persons, or I need to produce a work weekly, rather I'll actually just start crying, and I'll put that pressure on myself. So some people need to, like, of course, plan if you're a planner, but it's okay if you're not, because I'm a planner, but I can't be a planner because I can't. Like, I can't meet up to that expectation that I put myself. Sorry, I was just telling you my.
No, I hear it. I think it's like really important to be self-aware. Like I say that all the time. I guess like. So I remember when I wanted to move into visuals, like doing like visual interviews or any sort of that kind of thing. I remember thinking like I want to do it, and I think I'll be good at it. Right, like I think I'll be good at it, and I think I think I'll be good at it, but two, I also think that it will help me to capture an audience that just don't read, like, and that's completely fine. Like, some people don't read, right? And if I keep putting things out on my blog and putting things out in like publications and stuff, it's just gonna miss this whole bunch of people that just can't be bothered to read. Reading's not their thing, whatever. But I remember thinking, even at the time, I remember thinking that can't be my only source of motivation. That like just because some people don't like to read, I should now make it visual. Like I have to enjoy this, and I have to think that I'm good at it, and I have to think that like the quality level is gonna match my quality level that I think I have in the writing. If not, then there's just no point. Someone else will have that space, and that's fine. But I think it was really important for me for like everything, do you know what I mean? For like me to actually want to do it, me to think that I'm actually good at doing it, and then also the whole like I'll reach that group of people.
That's actually mad. I never actually. It's mad. So I never actually thought, oh yeah, I'm good at what I do.
To be fair though, I mean, I feel like you need a bit of bravado at first. That like, I'm sick, and then you figure out like the bits that you're not sick at, that you kind of need to work on, and the bits that like you are actually really good at, and you should probably amplify those a little bit more. That kind of thing. I think that's fine.
I feel like. Yeah, I feel like it's a bravado, a false sense of security in everything I do. I just walk blindly into a lot of things, and I hope that God will catch me. Like all of this. When I say from the moment that I bought my first camera to the concept of me thinking, oh yeah, I want to have a YouTube channel or something, 2 weeks. I had an idea, and I was like.
Sometimes you just gotta go for it though. I mean, like I said, I literally made my blog. I woke up that morning, probably didn't go to lectures. Definitely was not a weekend, so I was just in my house, and just did it.
Sometimes you need that, and it's like once you do, it's like, oh crap, I have it now.
Yeah, literally just googled like WordPress versus Blogspot or whatever the other one's called, and just did it.
Random question: how is your blog hosted now?
It is still on WordPress, so it's still hosted by WordPress, but like I've bought the domain. So before it used to be like oreviews.wordpress.com, whereas now it's just oreviews.co.uk. So I bought the domain and like mapped the domain. I'm using all these words, I don't really know what I'm saying, but I've mapped the domain to my WordPress account. So it's still hosted on WordPress, but it's like got its own domain.
Okay. So do you have to? This is for you guys, but it's also for me. So do you have to pay like is that like just the premium one? Because when I looked at it, it's weird because you've got like wordpress.co.uk or wordpress.org or something like that, and one's like it's not hosted on. I might be chatting a whole load of crap.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm the best person. I know that. So I think I pay. So there's the free one, and then there's premium, and then there's business, maybe. And I was on premium for ages. So no, first I was on the free one. Sorry, that's not even true. First I was on the free one because I was a broke uni student, and then after that I got a job. So I was like, I can afford premium. Move on to premium. So I went up to premium because that's when I then wanted my domain. Like I think you can only have your own domain name if you're on premium, maybe.
Yeah, I think
So I did that because I was like, I want it to be like something clean rather than like .wordpress.com. And then most recently I changed to whatever's above premium, which I think is business. Recently changed to business because I wanted to be able to have like a pop-up when you come onto my site saying like subscribe to my newsletter.
Subscribe, guys.
Yeah. So so that's why I recently just changed to business, but literally only like 2 months ago.
Fairs, no.
And I just pay the annual, so like I don't have to think about the cost
I
anymore.
genuinely hate monthly. Like,
Yeah.
it's the worst.
If I could
thing.
pay pretty much everything annually, I would. But yeah, I just paid it annually, so it was literally just like take the money and leave
See,
it.
I'm the
alone.
type of, if I could pay like everything up front, like I just never have to think about it again. Even if it's like expensive and it's a chunk, I'll prefer just to do that. Like even my phone, I just bought it outright and then now have like.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that with my I you know I've been saying that for like 3 contracts now, but I'm gonna do it for my next when my contract expires.
Nah, it's the way of life because when I see people like, okay, so monthly you're just seeing £50.
Yeah, like 56 quid. Mine's not that expensive, but I mean, as in it's not as expensive as £56, but it's still very expensive. It's like £41 or something. Well expensive.
And because the reason why I had to do it is because my mum stopped paying for my bills a long time ago. Like
As soon as I got a job in Argos when I was 17, my mum was like, when you get home, call EE. I was like, what for? And she was like, so that you can transfer my name out and put your name on it. And I was just looking at her like, what is going on right now?
Okay,
I was in uni with my friends that their mum was still paying their bill. When I was 17, she was literally like, this is your first taste of like adulthood.
That's what.
Put it on. Yeah.
My mum wasn't that, like, I think first year my mum, she had my back.
Bearing in mind, my dad used to pay my mum's. So when I found that out, I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
I can see what's going on here now.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, literally 17.
No, so I think my mum, she had mine all throughout first year. And then it got to a month where, like, my phone credit just ran out. I wasn't aware. I called them up and she's like, yeah, payments have been stopped. I was like, I had to call, I was like, Mum, what's going on? She's like, yeah, but do you have still the finance? From that point on, I literally just had to call them like, yeah, Simone.
Just first taste of self-sufficiency.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely hate adulting. Okay, let me make sure I don't miss anything because I genuinely want people to gain as much as they want to do. Because I am prepared. What's your interview style like, actually?
My interview style, pretty much like yours, just a chat. I hardly ever, like you, I don't really plan what I'm going to say.
Literally just vibes.
Yeah, like I just sort of make sure I've, if they're like an artist, I make sure I've listened to like their stuff. Generally speaking, I probably listen to their stuff anyway, but just make sure I've listened to their stuff. I'm not like the greatest with track names and which tracks are on particular mixtapes and stuff like that, and I never want to trip myself up.
Yeah, that could be a bit awkward.
On that kind of thing. So just little things like that. But other than that, just a chat. And maybe just like a couple like 2 or 3 major things that I definitely want to talk about in an interview. So like maybe like a new release, how they got into music, and like if anything mental has happened, like let's say they went to prison, how did that change you? Or or like I don't know, if you just had a kid, how did that change you? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Fairs. I'm trying to think because I should like, guys, I think everyone, this is the end of the day, so guys bear in mind. So I've had a lot of so many things happening to me, but no, there was one thing. Oh crap. You know, we're 39 minutes in, so I can just call it in.
Yeah.
No, thank you for coming, honestly.
No problem.
Shout out all of your socials and things for people to check out. That's all right.
Oh my god, yeah. So my blog website, I really know what to call it, is oreviews.co.uk. My Twitter and Instagram is oreviews with an underscore, because someone has the one without an underscore. Very annoying. I've DM'd them maybe like 3 times now. They've just ignored me. Whatever. Anyway, so it's got an underscore at the end. That's it, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh, if you want to see the interviews, if you search or reviews on YouTube, they should come up. If not, sometimes when you write or reviews, it thinks you want to see previews, which is a bit of an oversight on my end because I did not remember that those words are similar. So if you search like or reviews Blue Story or reviews Headie One or one of the like interviews that I've mentioned, it will come up.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and do watch them because they're actually very interesting.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, we're out.
Oh.